It's 2:30 a.m. you guys. This is what you call dedication.
Stop, bro.
I don't play. I don't play games.
What I need you to do is makeup, please.
Team no sleep. I do it for you.
Ash, come on, bro.
Hey guys, what is up? What's going on? It's your girl Ashley and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, what I'm going to be doing is another one of my full face using only videos. Today, we're going to focus on CoverGirl, which I am so excited about. If you guys didn't know, CoverGirl recently went cruelty free and they are one of the biggest drugstore brands to go cruelty free. So they're definitely, making a really big statement. So I really wanted to dabble into some of their products. I haven't used a full face of CoverGirl in a really long time. So I really just want to play with some new things, let you guys know my thoughts and things like that. So if you guys are interested in seeing my thoughts on each and every single product, make sure you guys press the subscribe button. Also click that bell so that you guys are notified anytime I upload a new video, which is 3 times a week, every single week. And without further ado, let's go ahead and just hop right into it. So I went ahead and zoomed you guys in a little bit closer just so that way you guys can kind of see what it is I'm doing and putting on my face. Fun fact, I recently just switched my camera setup. I used to, in fact, film with a Canon 70D. I recently switched over to using a Sony body and camera and lens, and the lighting is a little bit different. Let me know how you guys feel about this. I felt like my other videos, they weren't like true to color. So I really wanted to tackle this and figure out what lighting setup I needed for my videos to show up true to color. So here we go. I'm a little HD. You guys can see every oil gland, every pore. It's unreal. I feel like in a lot of my other videos, I used to tell you guys I had sunspots and things like that, and you guys couldn't really see it. But right now, I feel like you guys can see every nook and cranny on my face. And I'm not about it, but I'm just glad that you guys can kind of see that I'm a real person. I have imperfections, and I'm going to show you guys how to cover them up right here, right now. So first and foremost, I am going to go in with a primer. The primer I'm going to be using today is this one right here by CoverGirl. This is the CoverGirl True Blend Base Business Skin Primer. It is the illuminating one, just because I do want more of like a dewy, luminous glow. And I say that now, but I'm probably going to go in with a shit ton of powder and then just totally contradict myself. But you know what? We gonna roll with it. I have a little bit pumped on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to work this into the skin. Honestly, if you guys want me to be completely real with you, CoverGirl is seriously stepping up their game with a lot of their products. This primer right here feels so amazing on the skin. They do have some of my favorite primers within the drugstore. As you can see, it's definitely giving my skin a very luminous, healthy looking glow without looking too oily. It's also smoothing out my skin, and it just feels very nice. Before, I will say, CoverGirl isn't a brand that I would normally reach for, but they're redoing their packaging. They're coming out with very awesome products, very like eye-catching products that I would actually want to reach for as a consumer. So if you guys haven't tried CoverGirl out in a while, I definitely recommend that you guys check out some of their products. I'm actually going to be alternating between 2 different brow products. I have this, which is a brow pomade. This right here is the Easy Breezy Brow and Sculpt Pomade. I have the shade 705, and then I also have a retractable pencil, which is the Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. As you can see, we have a spoolie on one end, and then we have a retractable pencil on the other. The shade I will be using is Rich Brown because I do have very dark brown hair. I know a lot of you guys think it's black, but it's actually dark brown. Don't let my filters fool you. Oh, anyways, I'm going to take the pomade, and what I love about it is that it does have a brush, so you kind of put the brush right in here. It definitely reminds me of the Benefit Ka-Brow. Honestly, I'm not mad at it. I feel like this would be a very good dupe for it. As far as packaging, formula, not too sure. So I'm going to give this a go. Like I said, I am using the shade 705. I'm going to wipe a little bit on the back of my hand just because I don't want to pick up too much product. I will also say that this is a little bit loose, so I kind of feel like it's going to fall off. I wish it snapped on like a little bit tighter, but again, that's not going to really affect the formula. So I'm going to start off with the very tail of my brow because I do like the tail of my brow to be a little bit darker. And I'm just going to start by brushing the pomade through the brow. I'm also going to take this pomade and just put it right above my brow. Right now, like I said, I don't feel like it's too warm and it's also not too cool. It's honestly probably the perfect shade for my brows. Again, I'm not too keen on the fact that this is really, really loose. I feel like they need to tighten it a little bit more with their product packaging, just so that way this is a little bit more sturdy. Otherwise, you'll have to like grip it right here and then try to pencil in your brows, which is a little bit of an awkward way to hold it. I'm not even gonna fake the funk, but I'm gonna move on. I actually want to try out this, which is the Ultrafine Brow Pencil in the shade Rich Brown. I'm gonna use the pencil side and I'm actually going to press down a little bit right above my brows to really define and carve them out. I'm gonna use the spoolie to brush and comb through my brows. This is gonna create more of a softer effect. And this right here, this is what you call a bad brow, but it's okay. That's why we have concealer and foundation, so that way we can kind of go in and clean it up. She needs some love. She needs a little TLC. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation. I do have the shade M10. Now normally I will use my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer for this step, but obviously full face of CoverGirl can't use NARS. So I'm going to take a little bit of this and put it on my eyelids and directly underneath the brow to clean up all of the areas I messed up, which is a lot of areas, let's be honest. I'm also going to take this foundation onto my eyelids to act as my eyelid primer. And as you can see, like concealer, foundation, whatever it is that you have, it really just helps out and really just helps clean up the lines a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit of this as well and put it directly over top of my brow, just so that way everything looks even and nice. Whew, so my brows were definitely a challenge, a battle all in itself. I will definitely say that the CoverGirl brow products aren't my favorite. It's like the formula was a little bit too waxy to the point where I had to keep layering product over product and then wait for it to dry and then go in and blend it out. So I feel like it was just too much of a hassle, but that's just my personal opinion. I do know people that love and swear by CoverGirl brow products, but that's just not me. I'm gonna move on to my favorite part, which is obviously eyeshadow. I have 3 different palettes right here, all by CoverGirl. These are the True Naked palettes. I have Sunset. I also have Peach Punch and Chocoholic. I think I'm gonna go with the True Naked Chocolate palette. It is such a deep palette and I kind of want to create more of like a smoky eye, if you will. So I'm gonna first start off with the Sunsets palette. It does have a bunch of warm tone shades in here that I think are gonna look beautiful as a transitional color. So I'm gonna pick up this orange shade on an M441 and I'm gonna rock this into my crease to again act as my transitional color. That was very pigmented. I was not expecting that. Normally I'll go in with a soft tan, but got a little carried away there. Again, I did lay this shadow directly over top of that foundation I put on my lid to act as a primer, and I did not set down that foundation either, in case any of you guys were curious. But so far, the shadows are blending out very, very nicely. Oh my god, the Chocoholic palette smells like chocolate. I'm sitting here like blending out my eyeshadow and I'm like, what does that smell? It literally smells like chocolate. And it was the eyeshadow palette. I'm actually gonna switch brushes to a Morphe M433, or if you use Sigma, it is a Sigma E25. And I'm gonna pick up the very, very dark shade within the palette, that burgundy shade. And I'm really gonna focus it right here towards the outer V. So I'm gonna start packing the shadow right here. I'm also going to put it in my crease a little bit, but I'm not gonna take it above that burnt orange that we use as our transitional color. So you wanna keep it in the outer V, in the crease, but you also wanna keep it low on the lid. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I have not tried out CoverGirl eyeshadows in a very, very long time. So right now, I'm a little shooketh, like, snatched. Do you see that pigment? Like, I'm just gonna go right back into that orange and I'm just going to blend it into the crease a little bit more. And this is also going to help blend out that very dark burgundy shade. I do want to carve out a little bit of lid space before I move on to the Chocoholic palette. So I will be taking the CoverGirl True Blend It's Lit Brightening Concealer, and I have mine in the shade Light. So I'm gonna crank it up a little bit. I might even be able to cut my crease with this product. Alright, so after the majority of the concealer is already on the eyelid, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pat down the concealer so that way it's nice and even and dry before actually going in and blending out this edge right here. Otherwise, when you lay down the shadow directly over top of a really thick line of concealer, it'll oxidize and then it'll start to get patchy, and you do not want that to happen. So make sure you take some kind of fluffy brush and really just pat down the edges so that way it's nice, even, and dry. Now that I have a little bit of lid action going on, I'm gonna go right back into the Sunsets palette and I'm gonna pick up that burgundy, and I'm just gonna re-intensify this shadow right here by packing it on the outer corner and then lightly buffing it inwards. And the reason I'm doing this is just so that way I have more of a seamless blend and not such a harsh line where the concealer meets the burgundy. All right, we looking good, we looking cute, we looking great. I'm now going to go in with the Chocoholic palette and I'm gonna pick up that dark brown shade right there with a little bit of shimmer. And the brush I'm gonna use to apply that shadow is a cream color E58 by Sigma. I have re-fallen in love with this brush. I haven't used it in so long, but it honestly packs on color like a dream, unlike anything I've ever seen in my entire life. So I'm gonna spray the brush with a little bit of Fix Plus just to get it going so that way it lays nice and flat on my eyelid. Ooh, that is gorgeous. I honestly wasn't expecting it to look like this. Like, it looks like a chocolatey dream. I don't think I've ever cut my crease with such a dark color in my life. I'm gonna use a super flat A2 brush just so that way I could really sharpen this edge right here. I'm just gonna pack this glitter a little bit more than halfway just because I feel like it looks a little strange sitting super up close, and then we're gonna kind of blend this shimmer in with my outer V color, which I haven't placed there yet. So while things are looking really good, I'm definitely feeling like I need to go in with a little bit more of a chocolatey brown in the very outer V to kind of tie the chocolate lid color in with the rest of the look. So I'm gonna take an M433, pick up a little bit of that dark brown, and I'm gonna start right here on the very outer edge, and I'm just going to flick it inwards just so that way it blends in with that shimmer a lot nicer. And the reason I'm flicking it inwards instead of flicking it outwards is because I don't want to drag all of this glitter on the outer V. I still want this to remain matte, so I'm going to flick it inwards like so, just so that way a little bit of that matte brown can go directly over top of the shimmer and it will look a lot nicer. This look definitely got smoky real quick, but I'm going to try to lighten it up a little bit with this shade right here, and I'm going to take it on that same cream color brush by Sigma. I am going to make sure I spritz the brush with a little bit of Fix Plus because I do want this to kind of pop, stand out. I have no idea what the effect is going to be. We're just kind of playing, we're experimenting. I do also want to note that the shimmer is like completely falling on my cheeks. Like, I'm getting a lot of fallout with this palette, which is a little bit unfortunate, but honestly anytime I play around with shimmer or glitter, I do get a bunch of fallout. So I'm really glad that I decided to do my base makeup last. Not gonna lie, that is super pretty. I'm now gonna go into the Sunsets palette and I'm gonna pick up that very shimmery champagne color and I'm gonna add it to the look to add a subtle highlight to the very center of the lid. That's what I'm talking about. So right now, this is what I'm working with. I know I have a ton of fallout, but I will be cleaning that up. The eyes, I feel like they are a lot lighter. I'm definitely vibing with them a lot more. Moving on, foundation, I will be using the CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation. This one is in the shade M10, and it is essentially gonna be a 12-hour wear foundation. Now, I wanna say I tried this briefly in the past, not entirely sure how I feel about it, so we'll see how it goes. I have this cute little pink Equal Tool sponge that I got in their holiday set, so I'm gonna start in the center and work my way outwards. Ooh, the coverage on this foundation, you guys, is unreal. I'm also going to apply foundation to my forehead, and I notice sometimes I don't need as much foundation in this area, so I'm just gonna do a light layer just to even out my skin tone.
One long angry line later.
So I went ahead and tossed my hair up just because I am working on my face and I really wanted you guys to kind of see all the face products in action. I do really like the foundation as of right now. I think the coverage is very, very beautiful. My skin looks flawless with the exception of all the texture, but moving on, I'm gonna go in with the CoverGirl True Blend It's Lit Concealer. This is actually a brightening concealer. It's the same product I use on my eyelids, so I'm gonna wipe it with a napkin since I did just go straight in and cut my crease with this. I don't want any of that eyeshadow on my actual face. I do have this in the shade Light BTW. It definitely is light, so I'm just popping it directly underneath my eyes to act as my under eye concealer. And I'm gonna apply a generous amount because I do want this to brighten up my face. I feel like I look very, very flat, and this is just going to add some extra definition. With that same sponge, I'm just going to tap and blend it out. This is blending out very nicely, and I think the formula is really pretty too. I'm going to take an M441 and I'm just going to kind of buff and blend out the concealer a little bit more before I actually go in and set that concealer down. I feel like this is a really nice trick if you want to kind of, you know, play with the shape of your eyeshadow a little bit more, which is why I like to do this step right before I set down the concealer, because once I set that concealer, I'm not really going to be able to move this eyeshadow color around all that much. I'm definitely going to need to set underneath my eyes with a little bit of loose powder. So I do have the CoverGirl Clean Professional Powder right here. This one is in the shade Light. Honestly, it's looking a little dark. So change of plans. I definitely can't use the CoverGirl powder because it is so dark and I really don't want to self-sabotage myself. So I'm going to go in with this powder. This is by Maybelline. This is the Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade Fair Light. I already know that I absolutely love this powder. I want to say it retails for around $7.99. It's really, really good if you guys are on the market for a awesome, affordable, loose powder. I'm going to bake underneath my eyes with a little bit of this Maybelline powder. So I'm pretty much taking this powder and I'm setting all the areas of my face that I applied the brightening concealer, just so that way it keeps it locked and loaded throughout the day. Now that I have my under eye set with a little bit of loose powder, I'm gonna go in with a pressed powder. This one is the CoverGirl True Blend pressed powder in the shade Translucent Medium, and this looks like it'll be a fairly good shade for my skin tone. I'm gonna take it on a big powder brush right here. This is also by Equal Tools, and I'm just gonna press the powder into the skin to set everything down and in place. And in the process of doing that, I'm just gonna wipe away any loose powder that's still kind of like sitting underneath my eyes. I will say that this is a really soft powder. Like, it feels nice on the skin, which is awesome. I definitely need to add some kind of definition, some bronzing, some blush, some highlight to the skin because I'm looking very flat, like super flat. So I'm gonna go in with this. This is the CoverGirl True Blend Serving Sculpt Palette in the shade Blooming Babe. Now, this was one of the only like highlight blush contour palettes that I found in the drugstore, so this is what we're gonna roll with. I do kind of feel like the bronzer is a little bit too warm for my liking, but again, we're gonna roll with it and we're gonna see how it works out. So the brush I'm gonna use is the full blush brush for the bronzer, and this is also by Equal Tools, and I'm just going to run this right alongside the perimeter of the face to give me a little bit more color. Just gonna get bronze here real quick. All in all, I will say a lot of the CoverGirl products I tried within this video are blending very, very nicely on the skin, which is very surprising. I am just going to take a little bit of loose powder per usual, and I'm just going to run it right alongside of my bronzer to clean it up and give myself a little beard for 2.5 seconds. So for me personally, I do like to apply my highlighter before I apply blush, and there is a highlighter within this palette, so I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to take the ABH highlighting brush and I'm just going to, oh my god. you guys see that? That is pretty. Now I will definitely say that this highlighter leans a little bit more peach, and I definitely want something more champagne. So I'm gonna switch over to using the Super Stunner palette by CoverGirl, which has 3 beautiful highlight shades. And I'm gonna take this last shade on the end, which is more champagne, and I'm gonna pop that directly over top. Oh yes, girl. Thank you. Also gonna take a little bit of this and put it on the apples of my cheeks and a little bit on my nose. I'm gonna take my big powder brush and brush away the powder. The only blush I have from CoverGirl is this one right here, which is that bright peach shade. So I'm going to take it on an angled kabuki, also from Equal Tools. And I'm just going to pop this onto my cheeks. One thing I will say about these brushes though, like I love how soft they are. Okay, so we added a little bit of something to the cheeks. If you want, you could definitely go in with a little bit more of your highlight and then just kind of like top it on top to give the blush a little bit more of a sheen. So for the most part, the face is done. I'm now going to go ahead and finish off the eyes, and I'm going to dip into the Sunsets palette one more time, and I'm going to pick up that orange shade at the very end on a flat definer brush, and I'm going to push this closest to my lash line. Then with an M507, I'm just going to smoke out the lower lash line. Now you could smoke it out as much or as little as you want. I'm going to go pretty heavy-handed. I have to go in with some liner, so I'm going to use the CoverGirl Ink It Gel Eyeliner, which is a retractable pencil. And I'm going to tightline with this, which is essentially going to create the illusion of thicker, fuller lashes, but I'm sure you guys already know this by now. Next up, I do have mascara. I will be using this mascara, which is the Supersizer Big Curl Mascara, and I'm going to use this to coat my real lashes before falsies, because you guys already know the drill. Like, I have to apply false lashes. Fun fact, CoverGirl Lash Blast Mascara was the first mascara I have ever tried in my life. Like, that was my first mascara.
I was freaking out, and he's like, dude, it's gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We got this.
So I went ahead and popped on falsies off camera. I did apply the Lily lashes in the style Mykonos, in case any of you guys were curious. I'm now gonna finish off with the lips. I will be using this CoverGirl lipstick. This one is in the shade Sultry Sienna 250, and I think it's gonna complement the look very, very nice. I will say I really love the lip color. It definitely is a hydrating formula. It's not like glossy, but it definitely is a high shine lipstick, which I am all about. You guys know anything shiny, glossy, that's me. Alright you guys, so this is the final and completed look. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, let's just ignore my little alfalfas right here in my center part. I have no idea why these things just want to like stick straight up in the air, but for the most part, I will say all of the CoverGirl products I used within this video gave me a run for my money, like all my money. I really did enjoy the eyeshadow palettes. They are bomb.com. They blend it like a dream. The pigmentation is crazy good, which I wasn't expecting for CoverGirl products. The only thing I will say that I didn't like within the video was the brow products. I felt like they were like a little bit too waxy, to the point where every time I applied more product, it would kind of just like slip and slide everywhere. I just wasn't about that life. So let me know what you guys think overall. Also, if you guys have any CoverGirl favorite recommendations, I would love to know down below in the comments, because you guys know I love trying new products, and sometimes your recommendations are just like bomb. So I want to know. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Make sure you guys press the subscribe button, click the bell so that you guys are notified anytime I upload, which is 3 times a week, every single week. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and y'all don't want to miss out. So with that, I'm gonna go. I love you, and I will talk to you guys all very soon. Deuces. Outro. All right, so you guys made it to the outro of the outro. How do you feel? Congrats. Also, let's be real, let's keep it one more than 99, 100. What do you guys think about the video quality today? I definitely want to know your feedback down below, and if you guys still have not subscribed, click my face right up here and check out this video and this video. You're gonna like them, trust me. I won't steer you wrong. I never do. Thank me later. All right, I got a blast.
To infinity and beyond!